Welcome back, everyone, to our Let's Play series of Industry Manager Future Technologies. So, if you remember back to our previous video, we had started making contraception pills, and we're making now around 10,000 of these per day. And you can see our demand is for a little bit more than twice that. So we got some room to grow in that area. But before we get going in that area, there's a couple of things I want to do, and one of them relates to the pop-up that you just saw in the top left-hand corner of the screen. We need to come into the global market, take a look at our existing orders, and now that we're making the inorganic chemicals, we don't need to order them any longer, so we'll get rid of that. Another thing that we need to do, as I zoom out a little bit here so we can see a lot more, is I need to come into the warehouse, because I noticed in going through my last video, I noticed that there was one item here that didn't have a reduced maximum, so we need to take care of that. You can see we already had 1% in there, so we'll reduce that to 2%, and I believe that will have everything at either 2 or 3% that we've stated before. So we already know here are inorganic chemicals, which we need as part of the contraceptive pills. We have 48 extra of those per day. Petrochemicals, which go into the making of the inorganic chemicals, we have a lot extra of those per day because we've already maxed out what we can store in our warehouse for those. All right, before we get too deep into this, I want to come back into our research, and I want to get started in software company research. I'm going to want to really branch out and get into another area as soon as possible. And the reason why I want to do that is because I know our time is coming where we're going to get one of those pop-ups that says, hey, the demand for our particular products is going to go down quite rapidly and stay down for who knows how many in-game months. So to try to head that off at the pass, I want to go ahead and get our research started in a different area. My original plan was to go into food, but if you remember from our previous video, we got a pop-up saying that the demand for several of those items, such as the protein drinks and that kind of thing, were really going down. So I don't want to get started in that right now. So we'll use this opportunity to get back into software, which is something we know from our previous Let's Play exactly how that works out. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, let's see. We're not going to mess with the sort of side quest things. So let's get back into what we had talked about doing previously, which is make another biotech factory so that we can expand and make more of the contraception pills. So let's go ahead and start off by doing that. Come in here and let's see, where is it at? Did I already go by it? No, I did not. There it is. And let's try to line this up as best we can. Right about there ought to be good. Okay, and while that's working, now we know from previous experience what we're going to need: biomolecular cultures and genetically modified organisms. Now, one of those is made in the farm, the other one on an animal ranch. The one that's made on the farm is the biomolecular cultures, and we found out last video that we've basically maxed this out. Okay, so we know we're going to need to have a new farm as well. Let's go ahead and slow things down for just a moment while we're doing some building. So here's our farm, and I'm going to go ahead and drop the farm. I tell you what, let's look quickly. See, 86 and 86, 92 and 95. Never mind, I'm going to drop the farm right over here because it has the best soil and water numbers of the options available. Yeah, even better than that new sector. So now let's come back in, grab our farm, and boy, these farms take up a ton of space. So we'll go ahead and try to drop this one in. Let's see. Well, I hate to do that because it's going to make it a road. So I'm going to have to bite the bullet here a little bit and just drop this thing right in here. We can always buy more sectors, that is, unless our competition gets to them first, because they are doing great right now. And I'm actually, as weird as this sounds, I'm actually hoping they beat me in this game, because that would be pretty awesome, I think. If we reach a point in this game where, given the past history of the AI, if we could be at a point now where the AI actually presents some sort of a formidable challenge, that would be pretty awesome in my book. Okay, so our biotech factory is done. Let's go ahead and upgrade our workforce and our pills upgrade as well. Let's select our contraception pills, and now this tells us how many of each thing we need. We'll have to adjust based on that. Let's go ahead and make the maximum that we can, which is 5,000. And yes, we want to hire all those workers. And before I forget, let's go ahead and send our finished goods over. And now we can come to the warehouse and have it pick up the other things that we need. All right, the biomolecular, let's see, that's genetically modified organisms. We need those. And then we also need the biomolecular cultures. Okay, so we've got those coming from the right place. And now let's head back, make sure. Okay, so now we're just down to the inorganic chemicals, which we will take care of now. And there they are. So now we just need to head back and adjust our production for these. All right, first things first, let's head over to our animal ranch, because this is where we're going to find our genetically modified organisms. So what do we need to do here? Our genetically modified organisms, we need about 50 of those, I believe. Nope, 49. So let's go ahead and change this to, I believe it is, we'll make it about 220. There, I think it comes out to about 217 or so. But we'll make it 220 to round it off. So that will increase our production the amount we need there. Now we'll come over to our new farm and go ahead and upgrade the workforce, even though that may not be necessary for now. And here's our biomolecular cultures. Let's see, Mrs. Processed Food upgrade. All right, no problem. We'll take care of that. Now we should be able to make our biomolecular cultures. And how many of these do we need to make? We need to make 121. So, oh, and before I can even get that done, we've got a progress report. Let's see how everybody's doing. All right, so their balance increased more than mine. So I'm bringing up the back end here, company value. Again, they're well ahead of me. And the red team is really doing well. I like to see that. Revenue, everybody's doing good. So overall, I'm very pleased. This is great. All right, so now with that out of the way, with our check on the AI looking good now, let's go back in and 121 of these. Let's set up our transportation route, have that go to the warehouse. Okay, and we should be good to go there as well. Now that leaves us with inorganic chemicals. So right now, if we come over to our warehouse, you can see inorganic chemicals. Now we're down 25 per day. We were up, I think it was something, 40 to 50, but now we're down 25, and that's because we've got our new biotech factory up and going. So we need at least 25 more. Now again, I'm going to increase this a little bit more than that, and we're going to go up to 250. Okay, so now we can go up to 250. Let's see what this does. Okay, so we're not even quite to half of our workers being used. So 250, what does this do for petrochemicals? Now we're going to need 130. Well, if you remember from our previous video, we're currently making 200, or actually we're not making any right now because we're maxed out in the warehouse, but we're set up to make 200 per day. So we're still well below that. So we're fine. We only need 6 of the lithium, or 7 rather, and we're making 30 of those per day. So we are perfectly fine on all of that. So let's go ahead and head back into our warehouse and take this off of pause, run it forward a little bit, and let's make sure that our inorganic chemicals. Okay, let's see, new year, time for new beginnings, and looks like vehicle factories are very lucrative. Okay. All right, so now we're up about what I thought we would be up. So I increased it by 50. We needed about 25. So now we're up about 25 or 26 per day. Excellent. That is what we're looking for. Now we've got our increased production coming. So let's come in here, take a look. Now, instead of about 10,000 a day, we've got about 15,000. If I go between all of the stores, you can see most of our quantities are being sold in the first store. So we're looking good, and I think we've got room for one more. Okay, let's come over and let's do another. Let's see, where is it at? There it is, Biotech Factory. Let's try to wedge this in here pretty good. And we got everything on fast forward. So now, while that's working, I'm going to go ahead and adjust this another 50 because we are going to need, let's see, how many extra do we need? Let's see, we need 73. So I'm actually going to need to, let's go ahead and go all the way up to 350 inorganic chemicals here. Now we can see that we need 182. So we're getting close to the 200 that we're producing per day. We're still perfectly fine in our mind. So all of that, we don't need to make any changes there. All we simply needed to do was come in here and make more of the inorganic chemicals. Let's take a quick glance here. Let's see, yep, that jumps up to 126 as we expected. Now we can come in and start making more pills without too much concern. Okay, so we've got all of our worker upgrades. And now we're going to make these pills. You can see there's the 73 more that we needed. Okay, so we're going to need to come in and adjust these amounts, which we'll take care of momentarily. And first, let's go ahead and set up our warehousing. So we've got the warehouse there. We need the biomolecular cultures. We need the genetically modified. And finally, we need the inorganic chemicals. Okay, so I believe that will take care of all the warehousing. It does. Let's set up our quantity, which will be another 5,000. And so far, so good. Okay, let's take a look here. Everything looks good so far. Now we need to come in and take care of these amounts. So let's get out of there, come into our farm. And of course, we need to double that amount. Okay, and we're perfectly fine. We've still got plenty of workers left there. So we're about a third of the way through our available workers there. Now let's come over to our animal ranch. And let's see what we've got. So we're about halfway through our available workers there. We'll keep an eye on that genetically modified organisms. We need how many? So about 50 more. So let's go ahead and run this up by about 50 to 270. Now we've hired some more workers and oh yeah, we're still perfectly fine there. Okay. With that being said, let's come back into our warehouse and let's see as we go forward 0, so we're doing good there. We've already maxed out. That's why it's showing a 0. Same thing here. We're maxed out quantities there. Let's see. Mad Scientist has an idea for a new product. And no, we're not worried about that. So genetically modified organisms, we have a surplus coming in of 11 or 12 per day. And let's see. Let's find our biomolecular cultures. Looks like we've got pretty much right on the money here. Yeah, we're just a couple to the good there. That's excellent. That's what we wanted. All right, now we come back over to our shop and see that we are basically right on with the demand. So I'm definitely not interested in making any more. Let's come over to this shop. We're selling just a few there. And just a few there. So we could actually continue to increase that, but I'm not going to right now because I want to go ahead and get diversified a little bit more than what we are right now. So software company, we've already researched a few of these. Let's go ahead and continue our research there. So that fills up our queue. Research is going well. So that opens up some products that we've got that we can go ahead and make. Let's come back over and let's see, where do we want to start making software? The workforce number will at some point come back to haunt us if I'm not careful, because I never remember to take a look at that. All right, let's go ahead and come into our building. And let's see, software company, there it is. So about 2.1 million for that. The great thing about the software, if you weren't with us for our initial Let's Play series, the great thing about software is that it doesn't require any raw materials. It only requires people. So that is a great thing because it enables us to really get up and going and bring in some profit by selling products very quickly without having to micromanage a production chain like we've been having to do over the last video or so with the oil. All right, now the other reason why I wanted to get into software, let's take a quick look here at the market statistics. So if you look here for software, we can see all of the different software products, and then of course we've got a couple of other genres within that. You can see that right now we've got some items being sold, daily supplies. That's from our competitors. Now I don't know from this which one of our competitors, but it looks to me like social media plugins, they're selling for $69. The daily demand is 1,600. They're only supplying 84. So there's quite a bit of demand there. Let's go ahead and attack that first. All right, we're going to upgrade our workforce. I don't think we're going to need any of those just yet. So let's go ahead and add. What do we want to do? Social media plugin. Let's take care of that. How many can we make? Okay, we can make 83. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Make our 83. We're going to keep the quantity down. Let's see. Wow, only 20 workers there with the workforce upgrade. That's not as many as I had hoped, but it is what it is. So we'll go ahead and send that product to the finished goods warehouse. And you can see already with just a few clicks, we're up and going with a new product. And that's one of the reasons why I love the software. All right, so if I come back in here, market statistics, they're selling theirs for 69 if I'm reading that right. Let's go ahead and create a new product report. Cost me $2,000. That's no big deal at all. Let's see. So there's 69, 63. Okay, so not bad at all. Okay, so the total supply, not bad at all. So we're going to come in at, they're at $69 and $63. What are we selling for? We're selling for 60. Okay, and again, the main thing for me right now is that we are selling all that we're making. I'm not as much worried about, maxing out the profit and everything as much as I want to max out profit. My concern is that we continue to work on this. Let's see, we're making, okay, not a ton that we're making here, but again, this is going to help us going forward. Let's see, one other thing I wanted to check. Yeah, the demand is well above where we are, because remember, we've got demand coming in from 3 separate cities here. So we've got quite a large demand. We'll see how that works out as it gets opened up and operational. Okay, now let's come back around to our first one. You can see there's still plenty of demand here to be filled. Okay, we're not selling pretty much anywhere else because all of them are going to the first city. But yeah, there's plenty of demand. So with that in mind, we're going to come back over here and we're going to just continue to ramp up this production. And again, as much as it's not going to make us just a ton of money per factory, it is making us money and it allows us to diversify. So we're going to continue to do this. Let's see, we've got a couple of more that we can open up here. So we'll go ahead and keep our queue filled for software. And that one is building and almost done. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and queue up a couple of more while we're in here, because I know we're going to need them. There we go. So software, let's go ahead and purchase the upgrade there. I'm not going to try to completely max everything out, but what I am going to do, let's see, we can make 125. How did that come about? Oh, now I know. we must not have, I completely forgot. Yeah, our workforce upgrades weren't quite done yet. Okay, so let's see how far along we are there. We are almost done with that. So while that is actually operating, let's go ahead and take a look at some other things that we can work on. And let's see, we've got okay, that's the refinery. So we're not going to worry too much about the worker strike there because we're way overproducing. In fact, I think they may have even stopped. Okay, so we come in here and we see embedded systems. I'm not really looking at trying to make those because it takes a few steps to get there. I'm trying to focus on the quick products that we can make with only manpower. See, bank problems, not worried about that. Okay, so we can make antivirus. Don't look like anybody is providing those. What about advanced? Nobody's providing those. And then finally, games. Nobody's doing those. So really nobody has gotten into software all that deeply yet. So let's see. Okay, now we're done with our workforce upgrade. Let's go ahead, come back in here. And we're not messing with the side quest. Let's see. Okay, now we can double our output. That is excellent. That's what I want to do. So now we come back into our second one. And let's go ahead and max out the production there as well. Okay. Let's see. Electronic devices are on the decline. Whew. Okay, so we'll stay away from those for a little while. It's quickly appearing as though the strategy of this game is to attempt to decline the demand for everything until finally everybody is forced to rely on, they're taking a loss on a daily basis and being forced to rely on the cash reserves, which fortunately right now we have $208 million and we're making nearly 400,000 per day. So we're in no danger as far as that goes. Okay, so we are, it's time for another update, another progress report. So it looks like balance, again, still doing great. Everybody's still doing good. Our revenue has now outpaced them, but overall, I think the AI are doing great. They're ahead of me right now as far as company value and things go. So I'm pleased. Let's go ahead and continue on with the game. So demand, you can see here, we've got room. We've got room for additional demand in this space. But I tell you what I want to do. If you remember just a few moments ago, that if we come in and look under the games, there's nobody here. There's nobody here in all of these daily supplies. So I don't want to continue to work here. We can always come back to that if we want to later on, but nobody's working in games. So let's make sure that our research is good for this. Let's see, what do we have? This is system control. Okay, so looks like we've got data mining and speech recognition will get us at least one in all of these, and then we can come back in and start to fill out the second level here. And in case you're wondering what the second level is it decreases your feature cost, which is always good. So we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, with that being said, let's come back over to our two new software factories or software companies. And let's see, video games, that's what we want to work on here. Let's go ahead and let's see, let's make the PC game. And again, all we need is our workforce to make these. So we can make 120 of these or 119 of these per day. So not bad at all. Let's send these to the finished goods warehouse and let's go ahead and, oh great. So we're shutting down the animal ranch. So they just continue to work hard on shutting us down and making us lose money. They haven't gotten there yet, but I would imagine they will shortly. Okay, so our demand looks like about 250 per day. Let's go ahead and get our shops open up in each of these. Looks like it's about time for an upgrade to our shop. So yeah, about 250 per. So we're nowhere near meeting that right now. That was the first hurdle I wanted to get past. Okay, let's come back in here to our warehouse, and you can see we got 2%, 2%. Let's go ahead and, well, we're not getting them in here fast enough. Let's go ahead and see if we can change this before it gets back grayed out. Yeah, let us change it. So, okay, so we're in good shape here. 10% there, but we're not going to spend too much time worrying about that. All right, so about 250, and we're at 119 right now. So easily, I know that we can come in and make the same product in this new area. So we're going to make the PC game here. We've also got the console game that we can come into next. And again, we don't need anything other than our workforce. It's always wonderful when you can come in here and it says, does not require any resources. Always love that. Okay, there we go. So now, since we're on fast forward, we'll let that filter through a little bit. And let's see what we've got. Yep, there's our new quantity. Let's just take a quick glance at, let's see, it shows we are losing money on that. Okay, so, oh wow, our cost is more. Is that the case in every one of these? That is interesting. Okay, so let's go ahead and pause for a moment here. Let's come back up here and make sure that everything looks okay. Let's see. Let me go ahead and take a look at this as well. Okay, so yeah, we're fine here. We've got plenty of profit built in there, but we're selling for less here. That is very interesting. Let's go ahead and verify our cost of $47. And we come in here. Yep, there's our cost, $47. Wow, very interesting. I almost did not notice that because I don't know that I've seen that before. All right, so we're going to have to, this doesn't appear as though it's going to be a huge market for us as far as profitability. So in this case, I'm going to try this out. And wow, it's not even going to let me go any higher than 99. Now that's interesting that they've put a cap on our price here. So I'm not sure how much time we want to spend with this product because at best, assuming this works out for us, we're only going to be selling this for double our cost. And let's take a moment here and let this run its way through. Are we able to sell any? No, doesn't look like it. Let's see. If we, oh, that's what I forgot to do. We got to come over here and adjust our price in each of the towns. These people are probably saying, wait a minute, why are you going from $33 to $99 and calling us all sorts of terrible names? But the fact is, we can't make these things if we can't make money on it. That's what, unfortunately, in the real world, a lot of people don't seem to understand. And we can argue over how much margin you should be making on them, but the fact that you're selling them at a loss is just not going to work out. All right, let's see if we're able to sell any. So far, this is not looking good at all. Yep. So let's take a quick glance through the others. So yeah, we're not selling any. So that gives us an opportunity. Let's go down to 79. Okay, and let's see if, since 99 is not working, this gives us a chance to take a quick glance at how pricing, supply and demand works in the game. So let's go ahead and let that run through and see if we start selling any. Because if we can't sell them at a profit, we have to stop making them. That is for sure. So far, this is not looking good either. Yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to sell these at all. All right, so let's go down to 50. Basically, this is break even for us. And just to see if, at this point, I'm just curious to see if we're going to be able to sell these at all for above our cost. All right, let's head back over. All right, so it looks like we've started selling some. Yeah, even at this amount, you can see we're only selling 83, not interested in, yeah, wow, this is not good. Okay, well, with that in mind, I find that interesting that that happened to us. So with that in mind, let's come over and let's actually remove this product. So we can't sell it. If we're just barely going to break even, it's no use in us trying to sell it. So let's come out to, let's see, where is it? PC game, educational, there it is, console game. So product cost, this is a huge cost for us. All right, we've got that. Let's see how many we can make, 115. Okay, so the cost is about 51. Okay, let's go ahead and add this new production line in there. Okay, so it looks like production has already started. We're making 115. So we'll do this as a trial run. Let's see, while I'm thinking about it, let's go ahead and remove this one as well. We'll come back to that in a moment. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's see. Let's get rid of that shop. We'll close that one out. Come back in and let's do our console game. So $51, we can sell these for $87, it's saying. And okay, looks like we're okay. Again, these are not high margin products for sure. Let's go ahead and get rid of the shop there as well and replace it. So we got to learn something I definitely was not expecting in this video, and that is that sometimes the only price you can sell a product for is at a loss. So let's take a look at our price, $87 in each of the three. Okay, so that's not great, but at the same time, it's also not the end of the world. At least we're able to make a little bit of money on it. So let's go ahead and get up and running with our second factory. And let's add in our warehouse. Again, it really doesn't hurt anything to keep this previous product in there. All right, so we're on fast forward here. So we've got our new quantity coming in. Let's see how much money we're actually able to make. Okay, so we're at around 8,000 so far. Okay, that's not, terrible. It puts us up right at the threshold of 400,000 per day in profit. So that's pretty good. So we'll leave it here for this video. In our next video, we'll continue to explore the software company and see which of these products that we really want to get into. We already know PC game is not where it's at for us, but we'll take a look at some of these other products and see how profitable they are. Thank you for joining me in our Let's Play series, and stay tuned for more Industry Manager Future Technologies.